Shar Margolis, Shar Communications Incorporated, and Shar Vision LLC do not endorse or offer for any purpose but entertainment the views of any guest or other expert on Shar Vision or UBN.
I knew things before they happened from the time I was a child. At the age of 8, I saw a spirit at the foot of my bed and didn't know what it was. And in my 20s, I finally realized I had a special ability that could help others. I have learned that love never dies. There is a spirit world that can communicate with us, and we all have the gift of intuition. Join me, and together we will explore the possibilities of the unknown from beyond and more. This is Shar Vision. Hello, everybody. It's Shar and Sunny. Hi, everybody. Happy summer. I hope you're having a great summer. Okay, so today we have somebody who really knows about healing, who really knows about enhancing your looks to make you feel better as well, if you're into something like that. And her name is Nicole Ingersoll Scott. Nicole, is that okay if I'm using that? I know I only call you Nicole Ingersoll.
I know. It's all good.
Okay, great. And so Nicole is a board-certified family nurse practitioner, and she's the owner of the NRI Clinic for Complementary Medicine, PC, in Indianapolis, Indiana. And I've been there, and your offices are fabulous. And she's been on so many TV and radio shows, and you've been doing integrative medicine for 11 years and is often a guest speaker at different places in the Indianapolis area. So, you know what I love about you being on is that you're in the Midwest somewhere, and most people, unless they are local and hear what's going on, wouldn't really know what you do and how fabulous you are. However, I'm certain people come from all over the world to see you. That's true, isn't it?
Yes, it is.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah,
Thank
I know that
Thank
about you. And so just so you know, her mom is at the receptionist at the desk there, and she just has all these great hidden treasures in her office. So I want you to tell us everything that you do, and I really want to talk about today. I want to talk about why people are so tired and how you help people with fatigue and how you help people enhance their looks. And also, do you use lasers?
Yes.
Yeah. Okay. We want to know about all this stuff. So,
Okay.
So let's first, and do you also do hormones therapy?
Oh, it's how I got started in the business for the most part.
So let's talk about a little about how you did get started and how you started with hormone therapy.
Okay, so my son was diagnosed with Asperger's when he was about 3 years old.
Mm-hmm.
And from there, I went to various clinics throughout the United States, including Born Clinic, which you're very familiar with, Shar,
mm-hmm.
and saw other, at the time, integrative providers. This would have been approximately 12 years ago.
Mm-hmm.
And from there, through that journey, I was already board certified in family practice medicine as a nurse practitioner. I'd worked at the largest hospital in the state as a nurse practitioner, or was working, and decided to go this route to help my son. He improved remarkably within a year, 75% better. Within 2 years, no longer had that diagnosis. So after about a year, I started seeking a provider here in the Indianapolis area, and honestly couldn't really find anyone that would treat children.
Oh.
Ended up with a local provider that treated adults, asked him to work with some of these other providers in other states, do some integrative medicine, and she ended up hiring me as a provider. So I started off more with that. I said, I don't know that much about treating kids integratively, but through that journey, of course, I learned.
When you say integratively, tell us a little bit about what you were giving him or how
Right.
that worked.
So when my son was diagnosed with the Asperger's, which is a high functioning form of autism, he was about 2.5, 3 years old. And initially, which I was not opposed to medication if needed, but initially they wanted to put him on Zoloft. Well, he wasn't anxious. He didn't have depression. He just didn't make eye contact and really want to interact with his environment mostly. And so I said, well, that doesn't make any sense to me. So I went to I got online, sought out some other providers, which back then, as you know, the online, it was not what it is today. So that was even difficult to do. And we started looking at his immune system and his vitamin mineral profiles and his making sure he didn't have toxic metals or toxic chemicals in his system. And this is pre-genetics, because genetics have come a long way as far as being accessible to the lay public. So having said all that, the biggest problem he had, which I find with most of my kids, whether they have ADHD, anxiety, autism, is an upregulated immune system. And a lot of times that upregulated immune system is secondary to an infection, such as candida or yeast or allergies.
Did you say or yeast?
Yeast, candida, same thing, but a lot of people don't know what candida is.
I had a client today who had that problem.
Mm-hmm. Huge. It's a big problem. We're going to talk about fatigue. It's a huge contributor to chronic fatigue syndrome.
How do you get rid, besides, like, if someone has a yeast infection, they take Diflucan or whatever that stuff is.
Right. Every program is tailored for each patient, but I'll be honest with you, I tend to do a combination of traditional medicine and alternative medicine. So I will use a prescription antifungal. Now we have genetics and all kinds of things, so I kind of base all that on some patient results in combination with things like probiotics, digestive enzymes, natural herbs that help kill yeast, diet, right?
How did you
It's really not that difficult, honestly, to get rid of.
How did you know which things were adaptable in your son's case?
At that time, it was just honestly a guessing game. And the physician I worked with at that time used a combination of nystatin, which is a prescription medication, probiotics. We had to go on a yeast-free diet, which wasn't a big deal because my son was such a picky eater. He didn't want to eat things that contained yeast. And honestly, I'm not kidding, within 3 days, truly, of starting that medicine, starting the probiotics, starting digestive enzymes, and just eliminating a few things like cheese that he ate that might have molds or yeast in it. I'm not kidding. He went from being a picky eater to eating broccoli and things that were good for him. It was amazing, because most people that are familiar with autistic kids or kids on that spectrum is they are incredibly sensitive to everything, and they're very ritualized and picky with their eating. So it was amazing.
Okay, so you kind of intuitively figured this
Absolutely.
out. So you know, this Char Vision is all about our visionaries, and everybody who watches really hangs on to their intuition and trusts their intuition and wants to learn about their intuition.
Right.
So you went with your gut, you went with your intuition, and then you had this person who helped you figure it all out. But what's interesting to me is that, you know, they say that our bodies tell us what we need and what we want.
Correct.
So, or if we're allergic to something, we crave
it.
We crave
That's
certain
right.
things. So
that's right.
When your son was cleansed and taken away from all the yeast and everything,
Correct.
then he was open to the vitamins and the broccoli and the food that he didn't like before.
Correct.
So to help nurture and heal his body.
Right. And he was only about 3 years old at the time. So
But
it's hard to get any 3-year-old to eat broccoli anyway.
That's amazing. But see, you're very intuitive, so I would think he would be as well.
He is quite intuitive, and actually, on a side note, has been to the Monroe Institute to be tested for remote viewing. Yeah,
Why
so
did
he
you ever
is
tell
that
me
kid.
this? We've had
Well, because I don't brag about these things.
We've
and now
had dinner.
Yeah, I know. No, he has.
Cheesecake Factory.
I know.
More
Isn't
than
that
once.
funny?
And you never told me this.
He used to guess on cards. He goes to before and after care. He's in 8th grade now, so he doesn't go. And he's going to kill me if he hears this story, by the way.
That's okay.
But he and his friend Carter used to play this game where the kids in aftercare would write on 3x5 cards a number 1 through 1,000, put it in their back pocket, and he would guess the number. And the teacher said that pretty much out of 100 times, he would get it right 98 times.
That's incredible.
Yeah, so it was just very interesting. And that little rumor got around Zionsville, then got around Indianapolis, and someone called me here and said they were associated with the Monroe Institute. And it's very interesting. He had to do an online testing thing.
Wow.
And they asked him to come. That was like, gosh, though, that was probably 5 years ago.
I can't believe he's in 8th grade already.
I know. Isn't that crazy?
Life goes so fast. That's amazing. Oh,
Yeah.
And does he now listen to his intuition? Does he use it in his everyday life, or does he remember using it?
He doesn't he's a typical 8th grade, 14-year-old boy, doesn't want to talk about it. But yeah, I know that he uses it. He is, he's a little math whiz. I mean, really brilliant. And they gave him a test on calculus. They called us, asked if we were telling him about calculus or was he getting online. We said no. I talked to his dad, no. He was guessing. They said they didn't think so because he was figuring out the formulas without current formulas, like the school had not taught him. So there is something. He's connected to something higher, at least with math, in my opinion. He says he says he sees math like music. It's pretty impressive. Like it's very interesting.
What
very
about being a
creative
physicist, like a quantum physicist?
Yeah, and he's really into that. He and I really relate to that. Something spiritual that we can talk about to some extent, and that's very, very much of interest to him.
Does it sometimes baffle you how much more he might know than you?
I love it. Who it baffles is his father, who's very intelligent, has a photographic memory, and literally says, you are in some ways the smartest person I know. And again, he's a normal kid when it comes to English. He's a normal kid, when it comes to other subjects. And science is catching up now, but that math piece, he's just different that way.
Well, okay, so he's in 8th grade. I wonder what he would be. We had an expert here with indigo children, but then there's the crystal children, and then there's the something else children. I don't know. Tony, do you know what all those children are?
I have no idea. Believe it or not, I never read about them, Shar. Isn't that funny?
Yeah, well, no, it's not.
When you go through autism, you're just grateful to have a kid that's a normal, healthy, with it here child.
Well, so many kids.
I think a lot of those autistic kids are still connected to the other side so much that this is a much heavier physical environment for them.
So many kids with autism excel in one thing. So it's amazing because he probably always would have been a genius with numbers and math and whatever, but you found a way to heal him. So if people have this issue with their kids, if they have kids with Asperger or autism and they want to get a hold of you, how can they do that?
You can go to our website. Do you care if I give that information?
No, I want you to.
Yeah, there'll be a link. It's NRI Clinic 4 health.com, and on there you will have everything from the email address to the clinic, the phone number to the clinic. When you are a patient of mine, all my patients have my cell phone number. All my patients have my private email address.
You're kidding.
I know. And they don't abuse it, Shar.
You're kidding.
No, they don't.
You're a better woman than I.
You know what, though? I love it. I'm a control freak when it comes to my patients because I've been through that journey, and it's harder almost when it's your child. I mean, I would lay in that bed for him if I could or whatever. And so I've been on a side where I have developed a lot of compassion for that. And I'm a little bit of a control freak, and I just found that no one's going to explain it as well as I do. So I'll just do the explaining.
It's really wonderful of you because people
I love it.
Because they're with their children all the time, and then something happens and they need an immediate answer, and you're there to help them, which is amazing. You're incredible.
Right. Thank you. But I do love it. I'm not going to lie. I mean, I'm an acts of service person, and I love it. So it's all good.
Yeah. Whoa. And so does he know what he wants to do? He's great with music.
Right. So I asked him probably 2 years ago, laid off of that. And it was interesting. He asked me just 2 months ago, Mom, what do you think I should do when I grow up? And I said, well, I'd start with whatever you love to do. And hopefully that love will also mean it's something that you make money. Because I told him, I said, my ego would have answered this 2 years ago. Like, I'd rather you be a doctor. His dad's a doctor. I'm a nurse practitioner. That seems genetically that might come naturally. And especially with autistic kids or giving back in that community, because he lived that journey.
Mm-hmm.
And then I said, but gosh, you're so brilliant. He said, well, what do you think I love? And I said, math. But honestly, he loves to teach people. So I told him my ego would have never said this 2 years ago, but I think he would be a phenomenal high school math and science teacher.
How that's amazing.
Because if you think about it, you know, you always think your kid's going to be the Einstein. And when he gets the third highest math score, like every year in his grade for public schools in the country,
Incredible.
you know, he's a little bit of a mini, you know, Einstein when it comes to math.
Right.
But I just, you know, meditation's done wonders. Char's talked about meditation, I'm certain. And it's funny, I meditated about a year ago and had this big download, not even related. I wasn't asking this question about him teaching 3 Einsteins.
Wow.
You get that?
Wait, that gives me goosebumps. What is that?
Right.
There's truth about that.
I know. I had it was like a dream in the middle of a meditation where I saw him teaching in high school as a teacher and having 3 Einsteins come out of that. And again, you know, my ego, so it was just, you know, I never thought about that. And I know it sounds silly. And really that Einstein piece is not so much narcissism or anything as much as it is, I am a helper. I want to help people. I just want people to get better.
Yeah, and I can vouch for it. She really wants to help people. I mean,
I really do. Greater good.
You're dedicated. You've dedicated your life to it. I know you.
And so it's like, I'd like to see my son use that gift to help the world. Honestly, I'm a peacenik. You know me, Char.
Yep.
And, but at the same time, I'm like, well, what better help than to be the catalyst to motivate 3 phenomenal people to change.
Have you ever written any books or anything about how you helped your son?
No, everybody says I should.
Well, I feel like you should, because so many people have autistic kids that if they could nip it in the bud when they're 2.5 or 3 years old, that would be a miracle.
Yeah. I might have to get a ghostwriter because, you know, I like to talk, but I'm not much. I don't want to say I'm not much of a writer.
Well, you know what? All you have to do is talk in a tape recorder and find a ghostwriter and have them do it. And I really feel like it would do really well if you did that. I mean,
I probably should, because it's a passion. It's really how I got into integrative medicine, and it truly is a passion of mine.
Yeah,
and when I'll tell you what, Char, when Char had sent me, or her assistant had sent me a list of questions we might review. And by the way, people, I just looked at them because I was so busy at work today.
Right.
And I kind of like to not be prejudged and just go with the flow anyway.
Right. Me too.
You asked me what's your most, accomplishment with patients or success story. I have to tell you in general, I mean, there's a couple interesting, but I cry at least once a month, and it's almost always over the kids, because if we can get a hold of our health, the younger we are, the better. Okay. But to see those kids, I've had to go out to cars to have consults with these kids because they won't get out of the car. They're so sensory overloaded. They have such anxiety. And they come in the office now once a year just to see me. There's nothing wrong with them anymore.
Okay, that's a miracle. Seriously, that's a miracle.
I cry. 60 minutes should be in my office. And I say that not to promote my office, Char. You know I fly under the radar.
Right.
I'm not that person. But I'm telling you, it's truly, and I don't even take all credit. I take the credit that I allow myself to be a vehicle. And I hope that the people that we're around, we connect to that oneness or whatever, and the healing happens, truly.
And people are guided to you. And I mean, honestly, I just feel like you need to write something. It doesn't have to be a big book, it could be a little book, but something where people can a go-to book, because where else do these parents go?
You know, that's a good point, and I think I will, because I already have a lot of my own little protocols. It wouldn't take anything for me to have those in the, in an index or appendix or something, and then just write the story, right?
Yeah, just
gathered.
All you have to do is talk about what you've done. Tell, like, maybe 7 stories or something. And you probably have a zillion stories, and that's a book.
Now, on the flip side, I want to mention, from that modality, from that general rule, umbrella of autism, I'm not going to lie, I treat even adults that way to some extent, because whether it's from adrenal fatigue that your brain's not functioning, with the exception of hormones, kids, it's not usually a hormone issue other than adrenals.
Right.
Neurotransmitter dysfunction, adrenal dysfunction, thyroid dysfunction, all that. Long story short, I have one other, while we're on the stories, I have a lady that was a pharmacist who was 55 years old. Mm-hmm. She's referred by psychiatrists that often refers patients to me for nutrition workups, etc. she was on appropriately treated. I'm not going to lie, at the time I didn't like it, but she was appropriately treated with like an antipsychotic, an antidepressant, a sleep aid, prescription sleep medicine, and then a very antihypertensive because her blood pressure up. Long story short, she had hyperparathyroidism.
Oh.
That was causing excessive calcium to be deposited in her brain, and that was causing her symptoms. So I hadn't even done labs on her yet, and I looked at her labs, and her calcium was higher than it should be, and that's unusual. You don't see many people with high calcium. You don't see many people with low sodium. There are certain things that rarely, I've been practicing 16 years, that you see that's off.
Mm-hmm.
So we worked that up. I got her in with an endocrinologist. She went in a week. She was having surgery, and within 3 weeks, she came into the office to pick up a script to do labs because I was waiting until all this was done. She was a different person. So that's a very simple example of just kind of looking at things, really, truly looking at things intuitively, knowing that in 16 years, I rarely see calcium elevated. Rarely. I'm talking maybe 5 times, and every time it's been hyperparathyroidism.
You're kidding.
No. So that's just a perfect example of something where, you know, I'm grateful, I'm observant, and I have been that person. I always joked I liked Nancy Drew and Hardy Boys when I was growing up. So I'm very observant that way. Right. I'm CSI before CSI was around.
Well, do you have like a go-to thing, like for all the Char visionaries here, like a go-to thing that helps boost the immune system for everybody?
You know, sleep. I'm going to go back to the basics. If I can get you sleeping, pooping, you know, you're going to have energy, which is going to make you want to exercise. But I'm just being honest. If you sleep and poop, I mean, people say, what about my diet? Now, we all have different takes. I'm not a nutritionist. I'm very practical. I like my wine every once in a while, okay? Right. I really sleep. If I can get you sleeping, your fatigue, your adrenals are going to be profoundly better. So a lot of times I will, if I'm going to use a supplement, let's not talk about environmental lifestyle changes right now. Okay. I'll go for B vitamins to help boost a little energy during the day in combination with the vitamin C. So very simply, they could go over the counter, even though they're not the best quality, but they're not going to kill you, and you're definitely probably deficient. Get a good B complex. Get a good 500 to 1,000 minimally of vitamin C or ascorbic acid during the day. And at night before bed, if they could do a magnesium 250 to 500, even if it's the citrate, which is not my favorite, going over the counter and just doing that, no one's going to die, and you will feel better.
Wow, that is so good for all of us to know.
Yeah, now.
And wait, men and women? Men and women?
Men and women. Really, honestly, I'm not going to lie. I mean, most kids are larger than we are these days. So however, I'm going to limit this to 18 and over. But yes, men and women.
Okay. Oh, wow.
Magnesium before bedtime, though, because it makes you sleep. It's a natural muscle relaxer. I don't want you tired during the day, but that'll help.
Okay, so see, so many people don't get enough sleep. So many people don't.
It is a huge, huge issue. It's probably the number one non-medical condition. So you had asked me about fatigue. What's number one?
Right.
Anemia is the number one medical diagnosed condition on all age groups. Female, male, that contributes to fatigue, followed by hypothyroidism.
So what do you do for anemia?
Well, they need iron or B12, depending on the type of anemia.
Iron or B12.
Yeah. Having said that, non-medical condition causes, the number one is sleep disturbances, followed by a lack of physical activity, lack of exercise.
That's amazing. I mean, that's like almost common sense, but it's really like wise.
But it makes sense, right? Sleeping, pooping.
It makes such sense. So when I introduced you, which I was talking about the fillers, things that you do and all that stuff, and the Botox. So Botox is what?
Botulism toxin. Okay, it's a form of it's a botulism, just from the same family as food poisoning. It's not the one that causes food poisoning.
But do you use, I mean, I know that sometimes people come to you to enhance their looks, but also people who have migraines.
Yes. Oh, I mean, look, people, my forehead doesn't move. I use Botox. I do my own.
Yeah.
It works by essentially at its highest doses paralyzing the muscle, but it decreases muscle movement. Mm-hmm. Okay, when it comes to migraines, certainly I've injected people for migraines as well.
Right.
We tend to go higher on the head or more the top of the frontal lobe for migraines or cluster headaches, because what you're trying to do is relax the muscle, make it not want to chronically spasm or move, which relaxes the scalp and definitely helps reduce, if not abate, migraines.
And does migraines also, do they cause people to be like, do they come from people who, what's it called when you don't have enough water? Dehydrated.
Oh, dehydrate. Absolutely. Dehydration. The other one, believe it or not, is a lot of times allergies.
Oh, allergies cause migraines.
Allergies, upregulation of the immune system, the same thing that was contributing, because we didn't talk about my son having some allergies to dairy or mold at the time, and he had a candida infection. But allergies definitely cause upregulated immune system. So if allergies can be badly, and we all know there's been documented evidence with ADD and ADHD on kids that a lot of those children have significant allergies that are undiagnosed.
Oh.
And B12 deficiency, and the boys' hyperthyroidism that's undiagnosed.
Really?
Yes, that's huge. I would say about 1 out of 4 of the boys that come to my office with ADD or ADHD, 1 out of 4 have hyperthyroidism. Okay, and then here we go putting them on Ritalin and Vyvanse and all that, and they're already hyperthyroid. And I would say 50% of them have vitamin B12 deficiency, not insufficiency, deficiency.
And how do you test that? By blood tests?
Just a regular blood test. Your own regular doctor can test that. In fact, that's how I got a lot of the psychiatrists in the area to refer to me. They were so impressed. They're like, who's this person that's finally doing what we think should be done? They're not having to wait till they get to me to do a B12. And
so let's say somebody, excuse me, in New York or Massachusetts or somewhere else has a child that has this issue. If they send you a blood test, are you able to help them over the phone?
Yes. So
wait, you are over the phone or on Skype or something?
Yeah. I do. I always tell patients, usually it's important to try to get in at least for the new patient appointment initially, because insurance companies don't like to pay. I try to utilize your insurance. Okay. I don't draw labs in my office. I'm not here to make money off lab work. I'm not. In fact, if I get tests that aren't covered normally by labs, I have a test that's $500. My cost on the test is $146. I literally sell it to the patient for $146. I have no interest to make money that way.
Okay.
I just want to get the information so we can make people better or help them feel better. Anyway, so if someone, I'd like to see them for the first appointment, because oftentimes if insurance is going to audit the charts to say, why are you ordering $3,000 worth of labs? They want to make sure you're seen in the office. And a lot of insurance companies will not cover labs if you're not seen physically as a new patient, although that's getting ready to change state to state. But after that, we can do all the Skypes, phone consults, FaceTimes, whatever you want. In fact, most of my college kids have been with me since they were 4.
Yeah.
We Skype and FaceTime and all that. So
that's amazing.
Yeah, I love it. I love it.
Amazing.
And now they're the ones coming back to get Botox and lasers too.
Tell us about the lasers.
Yeah, so we have a laser called the Cutera, and it has it does everything from tighten all the layers of the skin, fascia, et cetera, and lift. We have another one that's a laser genesis that helps tighten skin on the skin surface, gets rid of the redness. If you have acne, it helps with that. And we have the, IPL, which is a light, not a laser, that most people are familiar with, might go directly on the skin and help with the brown spots. And then we have another laser, the YAG laser, that'll zap about anything that's on your body, including varicose veins, hair, skin tags, et cetera.
Wait. Varicose veins?
Oh, yeah, it works very well. And it's pretty powerful. So most patients only need a second treatment, where before, from what I understand, with varicose veins, oftentimes people need like 4 to 6 treatments.
Does it hurt?
Yeah, it stings a little bit. I had them practice on me. I didn't care. I didn't even know I had varicose veins. So they said, hey, you got good legs to practice on. But anyway, it hurt. But I mean, gosh, they were gone. And I didn't need a second treatment.
Really?
They're gone. I mean, it hurt for like 1 second.
Okay, and then the lasers that you use, do you, like, I have a chiropractor who uses...
Oh, for pain and such.
Yeah, like it's a light force.
Right. I know what you're talking about.
Light something or another. Do you know that one?
I don't know what, I've heard of it. I've been to conferences where they've talked about it. I've had the opportunity to buy one.
Wait, you have one?
No. I had the opportunity to buy one. We probably will buy one. I was waiting for the new generation to come out, which will be after July 1st.
Okay, so So do you
We don't have one right now.
Pardon?
We do not have it right now. We
But
just
do
have
you
one that
have-
does mostly aesthetics.
Okay, but do you have lasers that take pain away?
Not yet. We're going to probably have one in
you're
July.
going to start doing that.
Yeah. The person that does the laser work in our office mostly, I can do it, but it's not my love. I'm not going to lie.
Mm-hmm.
The person that does it is my ex-husband, Spencer's dad, Dr. Ingersoll. He's an anesthesiologist, and he does acupuncture in our office.
Wait,
and he's the one that's very interested
He's a doctor?
in. Yeah, he's a physician. He's an anesthesiologist.
So he's your son's grandpa?
He's Spencer's dad, my ex-husband.
Yeah, but is that your son's grandpa?
Yes.
Or?
Yes.
Okay. So
So what I'm saying is he's really.
Why when
good
we
with-
drive on the streets we see Ingersoll trucks? I thought he was a truck man.
That's his family.
It's
that's
family.
his family. Mm-hmm.
Wow.
Yeah. That's his family.
Okay. It's so beautiful that you're close with your ex-husband's father. And
I
that
laugh
he's
at the
working-
karma that he works for me, Shar. Sorry.
He works for you. It's amazing. I don't understand why when people get divorced or people break up, sometimes we have, there's just a certain life expectancy with certain relationships. So,
Well, my joke is I did a past life regression. He was my son in 2 past lives. I understand now why we're divorced this life, but we're still connected.
That's amazing. It's amazing.
I'm not kidding. I'm very serious about that.
I believe you.
And I'm not a threat to his girlfriends because they either think I'm crazy or they believe me and get it. It's all good. So no one cares that we work together.
It's amazing.
Just saying.
Okay, so wait a second. Okay, so I think I misunderstood. So it's your ex-husband that works for you?
Yes.
Not his father.
No, my ex-husband, Spencer's dad, my son's dad.
I didn't
See?
know that.
Yeah.
You're amazing.
That's amazing, isn't it?
Yeah. I mean, the whole thing, everything about you is amazing. Will you come back and share more of your knowledge with us another day?
Absolutely. I would
Okay,
love to.
Okay, so how do people get a hold of you again?
NRIclinic4health.com.
Okay, so you work with kids, you work with autism, you work with Asperger's.
Adults. My second largest population are the moms of the kids for
Uh-huh.
hormone replacement therapy. I mean, you name it, we do it.
Okay, hormone replacement therapy. Is that through blood tests or?
Saliva, urine, blood. The blood tests have gotten pretty darn good. I used to only do saliva and urine tests, but the blood tests now take about 2 weeks. Insurance covers them. They're through a regular lab, and they're just as accurate.
And you amalgamate Eastern and Western medicine. That's what's so great about
Absolutely.
you.
Yes, I do.
That's what's so great about you because, not only one thing is going to fix somebody, you have to figure it out.
And I promise I don't really have protocols in the sense that I really do individual plans for people.
And one more thing is, I know you do applied kinesiology.
Yes, I do.
And we've talked about this on Shar Vision before, but for the people who haven't seen those shows, tell people what that is.
Okay, so applied kinesiology is basically, it's a quantum physics thing, but basically it's similar to acupuncture as far as we're using energy of the meridians, okay?
Mhm.
But we're not using puncture, we're using pressure. In this case, we do a lot of that for allergy desensitization or NATE. You've probably heard of that,
the
Shar.
NAET, right?
Right, NAET.
Mhm.
So we just muscle test using the subconscious and your meridians to
Right.
figure out what you're weak on, what you're strong on, and how to
So
fix it.
it's like you put your arm out and your body
Yeah,
tells
so-
you the person presses down on it and it tells you if you're weak or strong to something.
Now, I'll tell you, this is a Nicole thing. An easy thing for anyone watching this to do
Yes.
would be to put your arm straight out. You don't ever want to hurt yourself or anything. Have someone press on it.
Uh-huh.
Okay, Tony could press on yours and just hold it like it's on a table. Try to hold it, okay?
Okay.
And then I just tell patients, repeat after me. So Shar would say, my name is Shar.
My name is Shar.
And Tony would push on it and it'd
Okay.
be strong. Okay, I
Push
hope.
on it,
And
Tony.
then my name is
Shar.
Nicole.
You're not
Say, my
pushing.
name is Nicole.
You got to push down.
Yeah.
He's not a good student. My name is Shar. Okay. So I was
Now-
strong. My name is Nicole. Oh,
See how weak it is?
it's so weak.
I love doing that to men. I love doing that to 250-pound men that go, wait a minute, I wasn't prepared. Do that
Well,
again.
you know,
and
just
they
so you-
can't hold their arm up.
I've probably had at least 50 to 100 NAET things. I was desensitized to so many things. So I was allergic to
Right.
so many things.
It
And,
works.
yeah, and I'll tell you another day. I was also desensitized to something emotional.
Yeah. So it worked. That we check for chemical, physical, and emotional.
Yeah,
That's
you know,
right.
I'm going to tell you
I
real
had a
quick.
patient today who had a trauma with her shoulder,
Right.
and she rejected the hardware in her shoulder. She had a motorcycle accident, young gal in college, rejected the hardware in her shoulder, had to have another surgery to have it removed and everything. So we got out, we did allergy testing, traditional blood work allergy testing. She had a significant gluten and dairy allergy. She came to me and said, I didn't stop that diet till 3 days ago and I feel amazing. And she said, and I said, well, you need to do an AET. We did. And she had it was an emotional reaction to that trauma. And I said, for all I know, you ate a bunch of gluten and dairy in the hospital when you were trying to recover, but you know, your body just knows that what all that was happening at the time was trauma. So it associated,
Right.
in my intuitive opinion, that incident with gluten and dairy, and she was allergic to it.
In 1999, I did a pay-per-view special, and I said it was called Shara, a Psychic for the New Millennium, and I said in it, what I'm worried about in the new millennium is terrorism in our country, and our
you were on
government
it.
better shape up the airports, right?
Right.
So then when 9/11 happened, I was in Germany and in Amsterdam because I had TV shows in Amsterdam. And I was in Germany and I was stuck there for 2 weeks because I couldn't get back here. But when I came back, I thought, well, if I knew there would be terrorism, why didn't I know the exact date and time to help prevent people if I knew them from.
Right.
And I did. I had people who moved out of New York because I said there's going to be terrorism there.
And you have friends there. You have a lot of friends there.
Right. And so my healer at the time, Hetty, who's in the spirit world now, desensitized me to the emotional thing that I was going through because I was like freaking out that why am I given this and not given more?
And you were starting to have a spiritual crisis that was going to manifest into a physical crisis.
Yeah, but it didn't, thank God, right?
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
Well, you are fascinating, and I can't wait to see you in the summer.
I agree. We need to have dinner.
Okay, we're totally going to have our dinner where we have our dinner, and we're going to totally have so much fun.
Which is so much fun because people look at her and they look at me and they're like, I think I know you. I think I know you. I think it's kind of a funny little thing.
It's
isn't
really,
it, Char?
really great when we have time together, and I'm looking forward to it. Thank you so much for being on.
Thank you.
People at home, if you have any of these issues, get a hold of Nicole. She's amazing, and she's a true, pure, good soul, and she really cares about healing.
Thank you.
Take good care of yourself.
Thanks. Bye, Tony. Bye, Sunny. Bye,
Bye-bye.
Char. Love you all.
Bye. Take good
Bye-bye.
care. Okay, you guys, don't go away. When we come back, I'm going to be doing some readings. And I think what we're going to be showing you is my man on the street readings that I did in Palm Springs. So we'll see you in a minute. Hi, everybody. It's Shar. Well, many of you have asked if I teach psychic intuition, and I do. Everybody has a sixth sense. Everybody has an ability to prevent problems and attain goals in their lives. And I'd love to teach you. Just go to char.net, CHARNET, and join one of my classes and call Nikki, and she'll help you out. Remember, intuition will take you places logic never could. Hi. If you like what you've seen on Char Vision, then go to char.net and book a personal reading with me, or join a group reading, or join one of my workshops where I teach you to be psychic and intuitive. Full power of knowledge, wisdom, and truth to guide and protect us as we communicate with our guides and angels in the spirit world and tap into the wisdom of the universe. We respect this opportunity and take full responsibility to use this not for ego or controlling others, but with the pure intention of spreading love and healing life on this earth and beyond. I'm seeing somebody who's either a John or Joseph or Jay or Joan or Jay. Do you have somebody like this? Do you have somebody deceased like this? Or a middle name like this? Or James, a J?
Could it have been JC?
It could be JC. It's a J initial, but
Okay.
Did you know what their first name was? Or it could have been one of those names and you don't know it.
Exactly.
Are they deceased?
Yes.
Is that family to you?
No.
It's just a friend.
Yes.
Okay. And is this somebody that did not grow old?
Correct.
And were they not sure about how they died or unexpected how
it was
they died?
unexpected. It was unexpected.
Did you connect with people around him, or are you feeling bad because you didn't do that?
I didn't know his family very well, but they connected with me.
They
after his
connected with you.
passing.
Okay. Because I feel like he knows that you felt bad about it.
Mm-hmm.
I feel like he knows that you felt bad about it. Why am I seeing where you grew up? Did they change the house? Did they change the area? Did they change? Do you drive by there?
I do. I spend a lot of time there. I own that property that I grew up in.
You own the property. Okay. And was it given to you from family?
No,
Or
I
you
purchased
bought it?
Yeah, I bought
You
it.
bought it.
Yes.
And do you have a parent deceased?
yes,
Is your mom deceased?
No.
Or your dad?
my dad.
Okay, I wasn't sure who. And so somebody else bought the property from them?
No, they owned it.
They owned it and you bought it from them?
Yes.
I feel like he's talking about that house. So do you rent that house out or do you live in that house?
My mother lives in that house.
Oh, your mother lives in that house. Okay. I feel like he's grateful to you for taking care of them. Like, I feel like he's just showing me the house that you grew up in. So it must mean a lot to him. Your mom's middle name's an A.
Correct.
Okay. Was she having some issue with walking or health?
Both.
But is she unstable with her walking?
Yes.
I feel like she needs something to help her with walking. Did she fall?
No.
I feel like she needs something at night for walking. Like what's the like something with walking or did you put things up in the shower or something for her to hang on to?
Yes.
Okay. I just feel like it's important for her to be conscious or careful with this maybe at night going to the bathroom, but you put things up for her, which is really, really sweet. Who's a C or S? Or K or C? Is there someone else who's a K besides you? Like a Catherine or...
Yes.
Who's Catherine?
Grandmother.
And she's deceased?
Yes.
Is this your mom's mom?
Yes.
See, I feel like Catherine is concerned about her daughter. And I feel like she's all right. She just needs to be more careful with walking or something at night, walking at night. And then who's Robert or William or Bob or Bill?
Some people I work with.
You work with them? Mm-hmm. And are they making some changes around this work? Or did they recently redo something around this work?
We're trying to.
It needs it. Mm-hmm. It needs to be brought into the 21st century.
Right.
You cannot do things the old way anymore. The old way isn't going to work.
Correct.
Are one of those people in charge or are you in charge?
I'm in charge.
And so they work for you?
Correct.
Is it Bob or Bill?
Bill.
Bill, okay. I think I like him. I think he's good. But were you thinking of bringing someone else in?
Maybe.
Like a younger person or somebody else?
Possibly bringing somebody new in.
I feel like you're going to bring somebody else in, or have you thought of expanding it in another area, this company?
Yes.
I feel like you need someone who's more of an expert. Is it with technology, the expansion, or somebody who's more expertise in another area? Are you planning to do this?
I mean, we're planning on expanding in a different direction. It's not necessarily technology. But
Okay, I'm not sure what it is.
Okay.
But I feel like you need to do this or there's going to be some issues. And now they're showing me numbers in a row. There's a bunch of numbers.
Could it be formulas and numbers?
Yeah, it could be formulas.
Okay.
It could be formulas and numbers.
Okay. That makes sense.
Is this okay? I don't understand what I'm seeing, but are you creating a formula or creating a new thing with numbers?
We create formulas. We create products.
Okay. Well, there's something. I don't know. I just feel like there's something more that you guys are going to latch onto that can help the company make more money or grow.
Okay, good.
And then, is there an R or B person, or R or D person around you?
Yes.
Which letter? R?
I do have an R and I have a D.
Is the R a male?
Yes.
Is he R.I. or
Yes.
like Richard or
Yes,
Rick?
Richard.
Who is that?
He works for me as well.
Okay, and the D, is that a male?
It's a male.
D.A. or D.O. or just starts with D?
Just starts with
Is
D.
there an N in that name?
Yes.
Like a Dennis or Dean or?
Dean.
What does he do?
He's my brother.
Is he deceased?
No.
He's living.
Yes.
Okay. Do you connect with him?
I do. Things have been a little strained lately.
Yeah, because I felt like he was. Well, not. I said deceased, but I didn't feel him connected to you.
Just recently.
But I feel like he's got an issue.
Mm-hmm.
And I feel like you can't get drained from this.
Okay.
And did you always try to help him
Yes.
and give him money?
Yes.
Stop it.
Yeah, I have.
You can help your mom because she needs your help, and you've got a big heart to help your mom. But your brother's a mooch.
Mm-hmm. You're right.
And I feel like he's taking advantage of you and also doesn't appreciate it. He feels entitled.
Absolutely.
So it's going to be hard because of your mom.
Mm-hmm.
Not, if the family doesn't all get along, but you've got to stop. You're not the National Trust. You can't keep giving away your money. You need to protect you and what's your things that are for you.
Correct. I just made some big changes in the last year with exactly that.
Was there ever a legal issue
Yes.
with property?
Yes.
And was there an argument or lawsuit?
Yes.
Is
Not
it-
really a lawsuit, but
But is it still going on?
no.
It's done with.
Correct.
Okay, was this with your family?
Yes.
Is that why you bought the property?
No, I bought it before there was an issue.
Okay. Well, and is there another sibling that's an issue?
Yes.
I feel like you need to stay away from that sibling as well.
Really?
Do you still talk to them?
At arm's length.
That's why.
Yeah.
Like you're
I
in.
kind of completely pushed myself away from everybody for a couple of years.
You need to. Just because someone is related, it doesn't mean we're woven from the same cloth.
Right.
And so many people I read for who are intuitive and kind and gentle and caring about others, a lot of them are very different than their families. And you're not like your family.
No.
You're just not. And, you're one of God's children. That's what I always say when people are like this. You're one of God's children. So I feel you need to protect you. I always say the first true love is self-love. It doesn't mean you're selfish. It just means your needs matter.
Right.
Is this like two brothers or a brother and a sister? What is this?
Two brothers.
Two brothers, yeah.
Two brothers and a mother.
Well, you're very different than they are, and she's very lucky that you're so kind to her.
She is lucky.
Very lucky. And then is there an A or H with, is there anyone who's like a Hannah or Heather or Helen?
No.
You don't have like anyone like connected around your daughter that is? And also a C or an S. A C or an S.
Around the daughter?
Or your husband? Like his family?
Yeah, there is some H women. There's
Is it-
Hasna, and there's a Hanan,
That's the Hannah I'm getting.
maybe.
The Hanan. Is that his mom, his sister? Who is
That's
that?
his sister.
Who's traveling out of country? Are they?
They're out of the country, yes.
And does your husband want to go visit them?
Well, my girls are in a different country than my husband right now.
They're in different countries.
Yes.
Are you worried about somebody in another country? I feel like it's something to keep an eye on. I don't know, like if like where there's smoke, there's fire. So
Right.
if they say there's an issue, don't
Okay.
let it go.
Okay.
And who's Hanan?
His
His sister.
Yeah, one of his sisters.
They keep showing me another A. Starts with an A, and I don't know where that's coming from, unless it's a middle name of somebody.
Well, there's several middle names with A.
Like A-N or A-L or
A-U.
like, is that your daughter? Or
We all have a
is there
similar
is there
middle
like
name.
an Audrey or a Audra or I don't know, Ollie?
Augusta.
Augusta. Who is that? Your daughter?
Her middle name, my middle name, and my mother's middle name, and some grandmother's middle name.
And did you say your daughter's out of the country?
She is.
Is she in Europe?
My eldest daughter will be.
Is she
later.
going to live there or go to school there? What is she
For
doing?
school.
She's going to school there.
Yes.
So is she going to England or I don't know where she's going. To Switzerland? Where's she going?
Well, one just finished studying for a year in Europe,
In Europe.
in Paris.
In Paris. Okay.
The other is going on a program called Semester at Sea. She'll be traveling to like 10 different countries.
Okay. I feel like she'll be okay, but if anything weird is going on with the world in some way,
Okay,
I feel like she's protected and she's okay.
good.
She didn't. Did you have to renew a passport
Yes.
or just recently renew her passport?
Yes.
Make sure you have a copy of that passport.
Okay.
Well, yeah, you can't live in fear. But there's going to be some strange situation that goes on, but I feel like she'll be okay.
Okay.
Yeah, I feel like she's okay. And she's one of the AU Augusta people or,
That one, no. The younger one is.
okay. Who's artistic or
The
creative?
the eldest one.
The one
that's
going on the boat?
Yes.
Is she creative or artistic?
Very creative, very artistic.
Is that what her major's in?
Journalism, marketing.
Writing.
Yes. Not necessarily writing, but
Mm-hmm.
visual arts is.
Okay. I think she's going to do just fine.
Mm-hmm.
Did something delay your husband from coming back here?
Well, he's not. He's still out of town.
He's out of town. Did
Yeah.
something delay him?
No.
But he's out of town working.
No. He's visiting his family.
Oh, he's visiting his family. Is he out of the country?
He's out of the country.
Okay. There's going to be something that goes on around your family with delays or traveling or out of the country, but I feel like they're going to be okay. Anyway, thank you so much for letting me do
you.
this.
Thank you
It's
very
been a
much.
pleasure to meet
It
you.
was a pleasure.
I appreciate this so much. Okay, everybody, that's it for now. I want to thank my guests. And remember, intuition will take you places logic never could. Bye-bye.